Hi, my name is Delesia, and this is Life is Deleesh. Each week, I make videos to help women live more abundantly. If you've been following me since I started this channel, then you know I am passionate about beauty. I love style. I believe in everyday elegance. But what you may not know is that I am passionate about women in business. Part of the reason for that is because I myself am a woman in business. I'm a writer, a copywriter to be exact. This month makes 1 year since I became a full-time entrepreneur. So if you're a woman in business, whether you're a freelancer or a side hustler or you're in full-time entrepreneurship, let me know in the comments what content I can create to help you entrepreneur better. 8 years ago, I moved to New York City to study public relations and corporate communication at New York University. I loved my NYU experience. I made great connections with both classmates and professors, and when I graduated, I became part of the alumni network. I'm still a part of that to this day, and there are many rewards and benefits, both financial and networking-wise and enlightenment-wise, by being a member of the NYU Alumni Network. I had several internships in undergrad, and I was also interning full-time while I was in grad school. I thought I loved PR until I was working in it full-time after graduating, and I realized I didn't have the same passion for it that I thought. So my time in PR was pretty short-lived. I think a total, including like my internships, a total of like 5 years I spent in PR. Looking back, I do some things differently. Namely, I would skip grad school. Now, this is my story, and I can't say what you should do in your situation because every situation is unique. So I'm sharing what I would do. I would skip grad school, but I'd still move here to New York, but more on that later. Here, I'm going to share 3 reasons why I didn't need grad school. Number 1, I didn't need that degree. Like I said, I'm a copywriter, and I primarily write for small business websites. The skills I use, I gained as a freelance writer and through grade school English classes. I also gained a lot of skills through self-investment in courses, in joining certain groups that would help better me as a writer, and constantly learning more about my craft. Without a doubt, an undergrad degree is valuable, but there are many writers today who don't even have an undergraduate degree. I enjoyed both my undergrad and graduate school experiences, but I can't say for certain that many doors were open for me on the career front simply because I had NYU on my resume. I said that I thought I loved PR, but I could have been working in PR even without a master's degree. Most people gain experience, and that's what qualifies them for the roles that they get, whether it's for an agency or whether it's in the communications department of a nonprofit or a Fortune 500 company or a startup. The only reason I didn't just move to New York without grad school was because of fear. It was the year 2012. I was graduating college, and I remember being afraid that I wouldn't get a job and have 0 options of what to do with my life. And I knew that I didn't want to be in that position. So I put all my eggs in one basket. I applied to NYU because I wanted to be in New York. I knew that for sure. And I also knew for sure that I didn't want to take the GRE. And my program at NYU didn't require it. So I was like, Lord, this must be the program for me. Not only that, but it was the #1 PR program at the time. I haven't looked into it to see if it still is. But I was like, I love PR. I want to study it more. So I'm going to New York to pursue PR in grad school. And, you know, I lucked up and got accepted. That fall, I moved to New York and began the adventure of a lifetime. But if I could do it again, I would just move to New York and still begin that same adventure, but without having to go through grad school. And I'm going to share why in point number 2, which is I may have found my thing sooner. So while I was thinking that I loved PR so much, I was focusing on where my niche was going to be. If I was going to be in travel or in spirits or in corporate or what have you. So I was jumping around in different internships, applying to different places to really see where I would fit in. And I think if I hadn't had grad school and not the pressures, but if I hadn't have clung so tight to being in PR, then I would have been more open to other opportunities. And I may have even begun writing sooner. I've always been a writer and been writing things, but I would have taken it more seriously sooner. And I think that that would have helped me progress to being an entrepreneur, which was somewhere like deep in my heart that I didn't realize. I would have arrived at that much sooner had I not spent time in grad school. Yes, God works all things together for my good. Absolutely. But we're speaking in hypotheticals here of what I could do differently if I were able to, which we know I'm not able to, but still, humor me. Reason number 3, and my final reason, is the student loan debt. NYU is a prestigious university, and with that prestige comes a hefty price tag. If I knew then what I know now, I would not have gone into more debt beyond my undergraduate degree to obtain a degree that I would not really be putting into practice. If you've ever listened to Dave Ramsey, you know that debt is dumb and cash is king. You also know that the borrower is slave to the lender, and he didn't come up with that one, that's Bible, but it rings true. Because of this degree, I now have student loan debt that I am still actively working to pay off. And if you've ever been on a debt journey of any kind, you know that it is not easy. It takes much discipline and it takes much money. You have to make sacrifices in many areas of your life so that you can put more money into paying off your debt so that you can live free. It's not fun, but you live and you learn, and I'm now on a payoff journey. So I'm grateful that that I had the experiences that I did, that I learned what I did. And I don't think, my degree has, I don't think it's completely never served me. I think a lot of, I factor in a lot of PR principles into the copy that I write. Because PR and marketing are so closely related, it does help when it comes to sales, which is what website copy is for. So I can't say that my degree isn't, worthwhile, that I have taken nothing from it. But if I had to do it again, I would still gain those same skills that I did simply by working in PR, figuring out sooner that I wasn't really meant to work in PR long term, and transition to being a writer and being an entrepreneur sooner. And investing in courses and programs and opportunities that would help me have more of a branding and more of a business and more of a copywriter's mindset. 2020 has us still figuring life out. And so many of you may be in a position where you're wondering, should I go back to school? Is now the perfect time? And for you, it may be. I would never discourage education because I believe it is the elevator of our upward mobility. I heard a pastor say that once and I was like, that is really poetic. But I believe that it's true. The more that you learn, the more knowledge you have, the more the world seems to be at your fingertips, And so if you're considering going back to school, what I'd say is to do your research. Look into that program that you're interested in and every other program. For me in PR, I didn't need a master's degree, but maybe you're looking to work in business and you think an MBA is pretty worthwhile, and an MBA from a certain prestigious school is going to open the right doors for you. So I would definitely do a cost risk analysis to see, is this something that you're willing to invest your time and your money into? And maybe you're balling and you've got it and you don't need to borrow money in order to go to college, but that's not, most people's story. So I'd say do your research, Know that it will most definitely benefit you and place you on the right path to whatever it is that you want to achieve, and that it makes sense for where you are right now in your life. No matter what, you're in control of the decisions that you make, and you are the one who is most impacted by those decisions. Growing up, my father used to say, when you're in control, you make the decisions. When you're out of control, you have to live with the decisions that others will make. So I would encourage you to make a good one. Thanks for listening to my story. My name is Delesia again, and this is Life is Deleesh. If this encouraged you, if this gave you some food for thought, let me know in the comments, and check out my next video, which is, what is a copywriter anyway?